Yeah, I think so too. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are back, and we have Tara here today. And Amber was supposed to be here. This is our favorite youngest daughter, and our favorite oldest one was supposed to fly in yesterday from California. But everything got delayed, so she's coming in today instead. But we won't blame that on the Mercury retrograde. Okay?
No, that has nothing to do with it.
No, because airline delays have been going on before the retrograde started.
Yeah, but the FAA problems. What about that?
Did you hear that this morning?
No, I didn't hear anything.
The FAA had a glitch, and
They canceled all flights this morning.
everything got
across the United States.
actually across Europe as well.
Europe too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad I wasn't trying to get out to Tucson today. I'd be really mad because it's like
Yeah,
70
they shut
down
everything temporarily down until like 9 Eastern Standard Time.
So it was close.
So it's sort of working now, but not as well as it should be.
there. Yeah, I'd be mad. I'm like, I want my rocks and I want my 70 degrees.
Right.
I'm getting on somebody's plane.
Yeah.
There's just
Let's
no pilot to fly it.
Right. Setsuko says, Happy Woo Woo Wednesday. I can't make it live, but looking forward to today's special morning chat. So she's going to watch after.
Oh,
Rebecca said, I'll miss your live too, but hi, Setsuko. Isn't today Bring Your Daughter to Work Day?
is it really?
Well, it is because you got me here.
Yeah,
For you. Yeah, for you. And then
your
she was
question?
asking, how old were you when you first discovered mom's special gift?
Sophomore.
Yeah, sophomore in high school. That's when I first learned that I did it, and that's when she told me what she did.
Well, that
I
kind
didn't
of
know what
answers-
she did before that. She sat me down at the kitchen table, and she goes, well, I guess I should tell you what I do. And I said, your mom, we have foster babies, you groom dogs, you take care of grandma, you're fulfilled. What more could you possibly want? And she's like, yeah. She goes, I'm a Ghostbuster. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. Where's your proton pack?
Right.
And then the whole thing just came out because, I mean, Amber and I went to school. Why would we know what she was doing? We were in school.
Yeah. We have secret lives when you kids are off.
Yeah, that's clearly
that's-
she did.
And that's when I did everything when the girls were in school. So, I mean, and if we did anything out of state at the time, we showed dogs.
So it made sense.
So, and Ted did the grooming, the show grooming for them, and he showed them, and the girls helped. So I could run off and go do a house, and oh, mom's out talking. I talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's out talking to people. Who knows where she's at? So they never knew what we were doing. I mean,
it was always a special treat if you walked down the street at 3:00 and mom hadn't made it back from whatever she was doing that day. And then we could get our own snacks and watch General Hospital.
Oh, General Hospital.
Every day at 3:00.
Now, Mary, you weren't a soap opera watcher then, if they couldn't watch it if you were there?
it was on in the afternoon for noise. You know, I really didn't. The only thing that I really enjoyed in the beginning was Dark Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And then that's what Amber did when Tara got baptized. We were at St. Anthony of Padua, and there was like 6 other babies getting baptized. There's 3 years between Amber and Tara. So we're sitting on the bench waiting for the priest, the brother to come in, the Jesuit. And Amber's standing there looking at the back door of the church. And all of a sudden she yells, "Everybody duck! Here's Barnabas walking in." Barnabas from Dark Shadows had a hood, and these were Franciscan monks, and they wore hoods. She thought a vampire was walking into the church. 3 years old.
That's adorable.
No, it was funnier when the brother came up to me and he said, "Bring her to church often?"
Maybe I should.
No, because she thinks you're all vampires. I can't do it.
She'll be scared to go in.
But it was the All My Children ending music is when I knew I could get up from my nap.
That's right.
Oh.
When All My Children ended in General Hospital, that the music, and that's when I knew I could get up from my nap when I was a kid.
Hey, it's funny how little kids think of certain things differently than the adults. It's like, oh, it's safe to get up. I won't get in trouble for, not
And
napping.
see, and that's why kids don't necessarily always tell their parents about a ghost in the house because they're not afraid. I mean, if the neighbor's there, she's not going to run in the living room and say the neighbor's here from next door because everybody knows who the neighbor is. But a ghost,
Mhm.
they don't say anything unless they're afraid of it.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
especially if it's a neighbor ghost. Well, you knew
right.
the neighbor when they were alive.
That's exactly right. So they don't care.
I've been okay with honey in the house.
Yeah, you would have been fine with our neighbor in the house. You're right.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Danielle.
Today is Ted's birthday.
Oh, and he gets to move tomorrow.
Yes.
Happy
he's
birthday,
so
Ted.
happy.
He's been moving for 3 weeks, I feel like.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks this, that, you look just like your mom.
You should see me next to Dad, though.
Yeah, she's really that side.
I got whacked with the Polish stick.
Yeah,
Did
if Amber was here,
You would see Amber, yeah.
Amber's my side, Tara's Ted's side. Seriously.
Where's Ted? Like, Ted, come stand in the middle.
He's at the house with the AT&T installer.
Oh, okay.
See,
Well,
Tara's a mile and a half away from the new house, so she just came and got me and brought me down here to do this because I didn't
Gotcha.
know we weren't going to have a computer today.
I'm not a fan of AT&T for stuff like that. When I did the move down the road, like that was just all chaos. And Sue apparently has already listened to the episode today.
Which episode is it?
Of course, you would ask me just a minute.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
And I started to look this up before we went live, and then I got sidetracked with like, oh, I need to do this in another room. So we weren't talking over one another. This is the one that had the food that was called Food Rules the World.
Oh,
That's a hard
okay.
day. Let's see. We have a lot of good mornings. I'm still catching up on all the good mornings. Let's see. Hello, Phoenix. I think she's a new friend of ours joining
Yeah.
us today. So for all of our new friends, if you have, hey, Chris, thank you on Twitch. Hey, Scott over there in Twitch and just over in the other room.
Okay. That's Scott.
Yeah.
That's Scott. You're like,
That one.
you're the Marianne. Well, that's the Scott.
Right. You're that one. Kim loved Dark Shadows as well. I used to watch it like at dark 30 in the morning when I would get up and get ready to work at Sam's Club when I would work the 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift. Be sitting there at 3:30 in the morning watching Dark Shadows, like getting ready to go to work.
Why was it? I never watched it in the middle of the night. Watched it at 3 o'clock in the
reruns.
afternoon. Oh, really?
Reruns.
Mhm.
Yeah, reruns. So about what, 20 years ago? Because Rune wasn't even born yet. So, but it was
No,
on
try
reruns.
45 years ago.
That's when it was
Yeah.
on originally.
That's
Yeah.
originally, yeah.
Well, it'd be
Yeah.
longer than that. Because Amber's older than 45.
Yeah, she's 53. Oh, please, Tara. Get over it.
So if you're new and I see Phoenix, she says, I'd like to ask a question. And sure. So Marianne and Tara are able to answer questions about earthbound spirits, negative energy, portals, fairies, Marianne's TV show, When Ghosts Speak, or no, Ghost Whisperer. The book is When Ghosts Speak, and so is the podcast. So feel free to type questions in the comments and we will get them up for you. Joel said Mom would ground me from Dark Shadows when I was bad.
Oh, I got grounded from Laverne and Shirley. Or Donnie Marie.
That's all you and Amber did. You just did the dialogue from Laverne and Shirley all day long. You guys made me
We
crazy.
still do.
I know.
So you'll have to tell Ted about all of his happy birthday
I
wishes.
will. And I'm sure you'll
And-
put it on Facebook sometime today.
Marianne still does Zoom meetings, though the next one that has any availability is towards the end of February on the 20th, which is a Monday. Starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can join that one. And still more happy birthday, Ted's trying to get some more questions. Um, let's see. Oh, Vicky wants to know, Marianne, if you were to wear gloves, would you be able to touch a computer then?
Well, I'm pretty good. If I wear something like this, I can hold for a little bit with one finger. Or if I wear these, I can hold a little tape recorder. The batteries won't die on it. But no, I'm better off if I absolutely have to with the pencil and eraser and just like that. So
Now, Terry, do you have the same problem with computers? I see the question. No?
No. That would really hinder my day job.
yeah, a
Right.
whole lot.
Like,
Or
sorry,
you
can you come
say
to work
your
today? Blew up
real
the
job.
My
computer.
real job.
Your
yes.
real job, right?
Like, can't come to work today, blew up the computer. Send me another one.
I mean, I do get a fair amount of weird things that happen to my computers. Like one of my work computers that I had, it just got the blue screen of death within 8 months. They're not sure why because it was brand new. So I got a new one. So I mean, sometimes weird things will happen with mine, but nothing like that.
Mom has the blue screen of death like within months on every one of her computers. And I'm like, just stop it. Just quit. Like I'm tired of hearing about your computer problems. Just quit using them. Let's see. Let's see here. Lots of good mornings. Hello, everybody just now coming in. Melody loved Laverne and Shirley.
I think probably most people liked Laverne and Shirley.
How could you not? Until they went to California and jumped the shark.
Oh, well, here you go. If you want to watch Dark Shadows again, Pluto, which is a free TV streaming app, has a channel 24/7.
Wow.
You can watch Barnabas Collins to your heart's delight.
No, first time around was good.
Might not hold up.
So Renee wants to know, Tara, how do you see and speak to ghosts in a way that's different from your mom?
I see everything in my head because the whole thing when mom told me what she did, and then I was like, that's cool. That's all you. She goes, no, you're going to do this. I'm like, nope, not. And I did a good job of shutting it off for a while. And so everything I see in my head. I talk to them the same way she does because she doesn't move her mouth when she talks to them. But I don't see them quite the same way. Like if there was something in my kitchen, she would see it right there. I would see it in my mind. And then I get also a very bad headache. And so once I make the white light and let them go, my headache goes away immediately. But that's because I shut it down for so long.
I think if she would let her eyes see them standing instead of just seeing them in her head, I don't think she would have the headache because she literally hears a pop when they're gone. And so she's doing it to herself. If she would just say, okay, I'll look at him instead of just seeing him in her head. But
right.
You know what? No two people butter toast the same way. She's going to do it the way I don't do it the way my grandmother did, and she doesn't do it the way I do.
Well, I think now too, I mean, it seems to be a common thing in a lot of our classes for people trying to build ability and stuff. Like if you had it as a kid and you shut it down. Hi, Sky.
Hey, Sky. Hi.
It's harder to turn it back on later because you almost forget what that felt like.
That's why it seems like when people hit 50 seems to be 5 years before, 5 years after. All of a sudden, that seems to be the age for women that all of a sudden want to start going back into it. And now the kids are gone. The kids are in college. They're alone in the house. What was that noise? The kid isn't there anymore.
I thought you were outright asking him like I heard nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sure he's snoring. So, but, and that's when they start questioning it. And well, gee, I did that when I was little. And I think that's why, and I'll bet the people that sign up at the Goddess Elite to come into your classes, I bet a lot of them are in that 45 to 55 year range.
We do have a lot of, middle-aged, older, They've got time now.
Exactly.
And the joke seems to be going, perimenopause opens up psychic ability. Like it's an
Oh,
added benefit, right?
Maybe I might have to incorporate that somehow.
Right.
Hot flashes, psychic ability, bone loss, it all goes together.
Yeah.
Right. Loss of muscle mass, bone, but you can see ghosts now.
Yeah, great,
Yeah.
great. You can't lose weight anymore, but congratulations, you can see a ghost.
That's right. I don't know if that's going to be a blessing or not. Depends on the person. Phoenix has a rather large question. I'll put it on the screen, but I'll jump to the question part. She wants to know, is asking the deceased to show or tell you their burial location a thing that can happen? Because she's doing genetic research and she's just trying to plot ancestors and burial sites.
Okay. First of all, the only way I could tell you if they, who they were and where they were buried is if they're earthbound. Because I cannot talk to ones that have crossed over. So you might need a psychic medium, one that can only talk to ones that have crossed over to get that information. I don't know how else a lot of people have gotten in touch with me that do genealogy to see if I can help them. And in some instances, yeah, great grandma's sitting in your living room, on the sofa, but that's far and few between.
So I went ahead and put the link up for the Zoom. There's people asking, and I'll kind of leave it up in between questions. And you do not have to have ghosts in your house to participate. We actually have 2 or 3 people that kind of just come in and like to listen and learn. But if you think you might have a ghost, that's how you're going to find out pretty quick. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions, and we go through everybody until we're done. So we always ask to be patient and to be mindful when asking your questions, because everybody else is waiting for you to wrap it up.
And we have to remember the time differences.
I'm back. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
So be mindful of your questions because other people are waiting. Let's see. Jackie says seeing her grandfather after he passed kind of scared her, maybe as a kid.
That's why they come in dreams, because it doesn't scare you if you see a dead relative in a dream. You get up in the morning and you say, geez, I had the best dream of Grandpa last night. But you wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and you see Grandpa sitting on the foot of your bed, you're going to freak out. Who wants to see him sitting on your bed? Who wants to see him at all in your house in the middle of the night?
Right. Especially depending on your grandpa.
Well, good point.
Some aren't the nicest. Now, Sadie, I don't know if I should be mad at you. Do I look old enough to have a son that old? That's my boyfriend. That's Scott. That's my boyfriend.
Whoa.
Do I look old enough to have a 43-year-old son?
No, I don't think you were born yet.
Oh, he's going to gloat over this later. I'm going to hear about it.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Hedgewitch says, very interesting that 50 is the magic age. I'm 52 and noticed that I'm way more open and conscious of energy than I was in my 20s.
Yeah. And I still think it's because a lot of the stress in your life should be pretty much over by the time you're 50, hopefully. The kids are gone out of college, married, whatever. Maybe you're just dealing with grandkids now. And I think people just aware of their surroundings more when they're in the house by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Sharon says, I'm 54. My non-speaking adult children with autism began showing abilities in 2020. We now travel to events in Ohio, Kentucky. So have either of you noticed that people with special needs maybe seem to be a little more gifted than us normies tending to be walking around? Well, us normies, not you. You're not.
Yeah, no. This is the thing with anybody, any child that has any kind of learning disabilities or anything like that, on a spectrum, whatever. Let's be honest. If you have a child like that, it's a stressful situation. I mean, besides extra schooling and extra things that you have to do for your child. And remember, an earthbound spirit needs earthbound energy. So if the house is all stressed out, you're going to get them. But let me tell you a quick story. A lady had called me up and she said, I have two children that have autism. She said, we didn't know. Uh, the oldest one wasn't diagnosed with the autism until she was 2.5, and I was already pregnant with the second one. So the second one had autism too. The first one was exceptionally bad. I mean, she couldn't talk. And so I went over. There were two ghosts in the house and a ghost dog. And the one was so mean to her kids. I couldn't believe how mean he was. And so uh, the kids came home while I was there. They went to a special school and the bus came. And the bus was at the end of the driveway. And they called her because she has to go out and help them, bring the kids in. So while she was out there, I said to the ghost that was messing with the kids, I said, why do you do that? He said, you know what? He says, I think they like it. I think they sort of play with me because they can see me. And I said, okay. I says, but then why do you tease them? He says, because that makes me happy. I said, Mimi. So she comes back in with the kids. I get rid of them. The second child could speak, not very well, but she could speak. And as soon as I made the light, they took the dog with them. They went into the light. The kid looked at me and she said, dog all gone, bye-bye. And the mother looked at me and she said, she saw the dog? I said, I guess so.
Mm.
And the other little girl, the first one, her autism was so bad you couldn't even touch her. She would just pull away from you. She just wanted to be in her own space. And she said, a half hour after I left, she sat down on her couch with the book. This younger child sat next to her as normal to read the book. The older one ran over, sat down next to her, and scooched into her. That was the first time she had ever done that. And the second one had asked, what happened to the man? Where's the man? So both of the kids saw them. So yes, I believe she's telling absolutely what could happen. I think a lot of these kids are in a different headspace. And that may be what we are. Maybe we're in a different headspace. Who knows? But yeah, they absolutely can see them.
Let's see. Dylan says, I think I've heard you say, but want to clarify, the white light is for everyone, even bad people. The light will be good on the other side. Like the light doesn't lead them to a bad place.
The white light is totally there for everybody, but I really believe somebody's standing there with a clipboard when you walk into it, deciding which way you're going. So I think that's the tunnel to where you go to see which direction you're going in.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Patrick. Says my mother passed away on Christmas Day.
Oh, jeez.
Generally, how long does it take before you may be able to have a visitation from them?
Usually about 6 months for the first one. It can take up to 2 years for some people. But if it was a death that was expected, or if your mother was really missing somebody that had died already, then that might be something that you'd be more comfortable about coming back into a dream faster than 6 months. But don't really look for it for about 6 months unless it's your birthday, a holiday, her birthday. Sometimes they like to show up on events like that.
Thanks, Melanie. She's like, Melissa, you're barely 21. Thank
There
you.
you go.
And Sadie's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's fine. I'm sure you both heard all the different rumors of how portals are caused, like mirrors facing one another and all of that. I've never heard this question, but could ring lights act as a portal?
No, I don't believe so.
Karen, she's like, I thought that was your father. Thanks, Karen. Uh, oh, Deborah kind of feels the same way. She's like, I've noticed this. I believe my 5-year-old grandson has some special abilities. My daughter and son-in-law won't be thrilled to know this, and I've never mentioned it to him.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be real careful on what you tell the parents about their children. It's not always good.
And I'm gonna throw Tara under the bus. I'm gonna say, hey guys, ask Tara questions because this is the first time ever in how many years we've been doing this. So you've got Tara on the line here, so ask questions.
Yeah.
For Tara.
Who
Here we
knows
go.
when I'll
Renee
do it again? So ask now.
Do you see them everywhere like your mom?
I do. I mean, but again, it's all in my head. It's not in my eyes. It's not. So it's a different way of seeing them. But I know when there are things around. And when I was 16, I got a job in our local hospital. I think she just sat back and waited for something to happen. I think that was just like, oh, it's going to happen now.
I didn't want to do to you kids what my grandmother did to me. Start dragging them around when they were 4 years old to a funeral. Why would I do that? So we waited and we waited and we waited. And then Ghostbusters came out. And that killed everything because now
poltergeist more.
Yeah, but still you thought, I mean, so now, and I even used the word when I explained it to you and Amber. Well, I'm a Ghostbuster. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I see them everywhere. It's perfectly normal. Like, I think I was the weird kid in high school who talked to people and didn't know what I was doing. So I was the weird kid in high school who talked to nobody. Thanks.
So do you have to talk to them out loud or can you do it mentally?
I can do it in my head. Nope. Okay. In high school, I talked to them out loud. In the hospital 3 days in a row, I talked to a man out loud who was passed away. Had complete conversation. I offered him desserts. I offered him beverages. And then his wife died and he was gone. And I asked the nurse, I said, is her husband okay? Like, he was very nice. She's like, her who? I said, oh, the guy that's been sitting in the room, like maybe her brother, her neighbor, the old guy. And she's like, no, her husband.
What old guy?
5 years ago. I'm like, I am thinking of a room downstairs. And that's when I came home and told her, well, I think I saw a ghost the last 3 nights. And she's like, oh boy.
Now, how did your friends did you ever tell your friends and how did they react?
No, most of my high school friends still don't know. I mean, also, I don't really talk to my high school friends. Let's be clear. And college friends also don't really talk to them either. And they didn't really know. Although when I was a senior in college, there was a class that was offered every other year. And it was one of those classes people wanted to get into. Is about witchcraft and paranormal. And I looked at the professor one day. I'm like, you want a real live Ghostbuster to come in? She goes, you got one? I'm like, it's my mom. And ever since then, mom's been going to that class to give talks.
Every year, the College of Worcester.
So
she gets an every year class now.
And yeah, she does every year. So, and it's one of those things like now my friends know what I do. Some of them are like, cool, whatever. Some of them are like, okay. And every now and again, you get someone like, can I go to a house with you? No.
Okay. Right.
This is not a TV show.
Yeah, right.
These people don't want a bunch of strangers coming in, trouncing around their house, just watching you work.
That's just it. And it's not, I mean, sometimes you're talking about personal information.
Well, and the thing is this, somebody tried to make a TV show with the two of us.
Yeah. We weren't exciting enough.
Yeah. In Chicago. And they brought us in and they brought her in from Colorado and me and Ted in and they put us up and we didn't know where they were taking us, but they took us to do houses. And they taped them. Well, the first place she took us to was her mother's house. Mm-hmm. And she lived in this big, huge apartment building.
It was the old PBR building, the old PBR plant.
In Chicago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so they wanted to know stuff like, well, what do we have down in the cellar? It's like, down in the cellar? And so we thought about it. We were talking, and I said to the one ghost, I said, would you go downstairs and tell me what's in the basement? And so he went downstairs, and he came back upstairs. And remember, there was an old, carriage, a buggy, a carriage, a
Mhm.
baby carriage, not a
Like
buggy,
a pram.
a pram. Thank you. And there was that down there, and of course, I didn't want to say like Christmas stuff because everybody has Christmas stuff buried in the basement or holiday stuff and stuff like that. But the ghost told me some interesting things. But they decided I was too old, and it would have been better if she was a sexy young guy instead of my daughter.
Seriously. Well, it seems to be most of the ghost shows now have the young 20-something guy that's like the
Right.
it person right now.
Isn't it what's his face doing it with his sons? That was super good. I do it to my husband all the time. He does the Atkins commercials. What is his name?
I don't even
I don't
know
know
what
why
you're
I'm
talking
asking
about.
you. Huh?
Is it
Yes.
Rob Lowe?
Rob Lowe is doing it with his sons. He has a show with his sons.
Doing what?
Ghost busting. They go visit haunted places.
Well, you got James Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne's son, that was doing it. And like during
Yeah,
COVID, they
yeah.
would replay and bring his parents on camera. And the whole thing was like, watch Ozzy and Sharon react to what,
You can't understand one word Ozzy says. Why? What are you going to react to? Oh, you wanna?
If I get some emails from Ozzy's people now, I'm like, talk to Tara.
Are you sick?
You wanted me.
You're like, it's your own doing, Marianne. This is what you get. We're all
I
loving
get pregnant on
it.
birth control pills. What was I supposed to do?
No, I'm an IUD.
Oh yeah, Amber was the birth control. Well, I don't see. Is Brooke on here today? She better
She's
not
in and
hear
out.
any of this.
She's in and out. She is she's having the gross experience of having to be at the DMV right now. So she's popping in and out. I sent her like an emoji of a girl being like, "Ugh." I'm like, that's gross.
Or you could do the little sloth from Zootopia.
Just hanging there. I'm like,
Well,
use their Wi-Fi, join in.
Yeah, because there in Zootopia, there's actually a sloth that works at the DMV.
Okay.
And I'm like, that is the most accurate commercial representation of a DMV worker I've ever seen. Again, you're probably going to get in trouble for that comment. Sorry.
I think Sandy's been in and out, and she used to work at a DMV, and we'll see if she confirms that. Now, do you see fairies everywhere like your mom can?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, and oddly enough, I have taken a shine to those little gnomes that are everywhere. So there are gnomes all over my house.
I like the grumpy little ones with the hat and the nose and the beards.
Yeah, those are literally all over my house right now.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're Valentine ones now.
Yeah, I got Valentine gnomes.
Yeah, they're adorable, and I'm
They
like,
really are.
I can relate to little grumpy gnomes a little bit quicker than I can fairies.
Yeah.
What did your husband say when you told him what you could do?
Okay.
That's all he said.
Pretty much. Okay.
Now, is he like into this type of stuff at all, or is he like, okay, that's what you do, but it's not my bag? And
That's pretty much it. Okay. Well, you go do you. Be safe.
And it probably doesn't help that her father-in-law is a minister.
okay.
Yeah, but he always asks you for books. He's into what you do.
I think he's being polite,
That could be.
and he can get a free book.
Maybe.
He hasn't offered to save you yet, and to rescue you.
Thank God.
I could never be a Methodist. Again, now you're going to get complaints from the Methodists.
Right. If they even watch, they probably are going to send me.
Well, I've got the Catholic slam, so don't worry about
Exactly.
Did your mom tell you about swallowing Jesus?
You don't chew Jesus.
Right, but then he talked about how you swallow him.
Yeah, you have to let him dissolve.
Yeah.
You don't.
I have that clip
used
saved.
the right word.
Oh, I saw that. I am not going to fall into that trap. You have to let him dissolve and then scrape him off the roof of your mouth.
Not what
Yeah,
you
I wasn't
think
sure
it,
if you
though,
got to
with
see
your
that
tongue.
one.
That weird thing going on.
Right?
Oh,
Oh, she's so much like her father. Ay,
But
ay,
even
ay,
if like,
ay,
you would
ay.
sit there and do one of these, like try to scrape him off the roof of your mouth.
Right? And not be excessive about it.
Yeah.
because I spent a little bit of time in Catholic Church and the military Catholic churches, and those are slightly different than your civilian.
Mhm.
They overlook a lot more stuff because it's military.
Yeah, I mean, there was the poor nun who slammed the wine at Grandma's funeral.
Oh, she was terrible.
Oh,
That's
no.
because Grandma was mean to her. But I mean, you don't throw the leftover blood away. They finish it off, and there must have been a fair amount of wine left in this cup, and she looks at it and she's just like, wham! And she throws it back, and Amber's like, oh my god, I bet she doesn't have a license drinking like that. I'm like, shh. And everyone just, the giggles started. That was it. Done.
I think we need some other stories on the podcast, more of like these personal experiences.
Let's change the subject.
Tara, do your headaches come every time when you see the ghost, when you're just talking to them?
If I walk into a room and I'm not paying attention, I know they're there. There's no headache. If I walk into a room, I'm like, ooh, there is something wonky going on here, and I start to really pay attention, that's when the headache comes.
Okay.
So that's actually gotten a lot better as I've gotten older. It used to be I'd walk into a room and be like, ooh, there it is. But now it's more like, okay, if I'm going to pay attention and do something about this, then that's when it happens.
So it's more of like a matter of engagement. Right. Danielle, real quick, she wants to know if you can use extra virgin olive oil rather than just virgin olive oil.
Yes, you can. You can use holy water. You can use Padre Pio oil. Yeah, as long as it's a liquid other than water, plain water. Yeah.
Let's see. We already went over your friends. Let's see. Now, what was your first instance or your reaction when your mom told you what she was doing on the side while you were at school?
Sure, whatever. Like, yeah, all right there, Danny. Where's your proton pack? Where's the car?
And Ted sold cars at one point in his life, and somebody came in. They knew what I did, and they came in from another city and brought him a totally decked out Ghostbusters ambulance with all the equipment on it and everything. And they tried their darndest to get Ted to buy it. Could you see me pulling up to some customer's house in something like that?
I mean, I'm trying to get the tour bus going.
Yeah, I mean, you could have had it first. That would have been fantastic.
I tried that too. She's so resistant on all these cool travel ideas and getting around.
Dad's on board. You just got to get this one on board.
Why don't you go with Dad?
Okay.
So, Marianne, as of right now, unless things change, because there's time, you're going to be at the Mansfield Parapsychon. Now, there is, almost every year, there is a local Ohio group that shows up in full Buster's gear and the car. So you'll get to see that.
When we went to, and I don't know which Disney park it is in Florida, but there was the Ghostbusters down there, and they ran around with the protein packs and all of that stuff. And doggone, didn't one of them know me from the show, the TV show? Really? And they went, "Oh my God, you're the real Ghostbuster!" And I just looked at him and I said, "How do you even know that?" And he said, "Yeah." And they gave me this little medal and this little thing because I was the real deal. But it's pretty cool.
Nice to know you're officially sanctified by the Ghostbusters.
It's like a real Ghostbusters, right? Except they're still going to sue me if I put their music on my voicemail.
Yeah. Susie asks, can we be taught to hear or see ghosts?
I have no idea how to teach somebody how to do that. I was taught how to remove negative energy. I could teach that. But I can't teach somebody how to see a ghost. Amber, our oldest one, cannot see them. But boy, she has some really bizarre dreams, and
Mhm.
she's aware, but she can't do what I or Tara do.
Mm.
Tara, I'm telling you.
Christina asks us, what is the best way to help your child if they say they have a gift to see ghosts or spirits?
First of all, don't tell them that they're not seeing what they're seeing. Don't say, "Oh, you're a big boy. That's the kids are going to laugh at you." Do not say that. Listen to them. Pay attention to what they're saying, and when they feel like talking about it, listen to them. And do not ask them every time they get up in the morning, "Who did you see in your bed last night?" or "Who was in your bedroom?" Because once you start doing that, they've got you right around their little finger, and that's what they're going to
Start making stories and embellishing and
write. So, but
Mhm.
that's all I can do. And if they continue to keep it as they get older, you know, maybe it's something you would want to do. I don't want to do it. But there's a group of people out there. This would be interesting for the store, Melissa. There's a group of people that have children, probably from the age of 8 to about 14 or 15, that really have gifts, but the parents don't know what to do with the kids or what, how to go forward with them. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to have classes for children and try to teach them what's going on. And it's like, yeah, no, I know.
Are you shaking your head no that you don't want to do this class?
Okay. I threw it out there, but I just
let it go right on by.
you know, yeah, I don't know. I think you're walking a fine edge doing something like that too, because you don't know what these kids are going to go home and say. Well, Mary Ann said I could do that. It's like, yeah, no, you can't. So
That would almost need to be a class where the parent and child need to be there together.
Mhm.
exactly,
And
and that's
so,
the problem. Because I said, well, you would have to be there. She went, oh no, I wouldn't. They wouldn't talk if I was there. Well, then you're not gonna. Then no. See, there was problems before I ever said yes. And it's like,
mhm.
no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because there is nothing. Well, now wait a minute. Apparently, there was or there is some psychic kids show.
I don't know if it's still in production. It was.
I
It was
never
with Good
watched that
Coffee.
either, but I didn't know if that was that helping kids or was that exploiting children. What were they doing?
It was supposed to help them figure out, like, it was already assumed the kid was gifted and knew what was going on. That was assumed. And it was helping them figure out how to set their boundaries, how to figure out which they were seeing. And, but it was never, the couple episodes, maybe 4 or 5 that I've watched that I saw, never by the end of it was it like, well, little Nancy was full of crap and she wasn't really. It's, they were vetted, and it was to help them, but it was presented more in a way to entertain the viewer, not to help other kids who were sitting there watching from home going, oh, so that's what I should do.
Oh, see, and that's what I would. Yeah, that wasn't good. When I do a house, and if it was an earthbound spirit in the house that scared the children, at some point, once the house is cleared, you've got to give your children back the power that this ghost took away from them. So I just tell, moms and dads, tell them that get a misting bottle, just a little misting bottle, and watch them put a couple grains of sea salt in it. And if you want to put a drop of coloring in it so they can see blue or green or something, and set it on the floor next to their bed or on their dresser next to their bed, and tell them the next time you feel scared or somebody creepy, point the bottle and squirt. They have to leave. They're afraid of the water. You got to give your kids back the power so so they go through the house again. Who wants to go to the bathroom with your 8-year-old son because he's afraid to go by himself? You got to give him back the power. And things like that help.
Or buy them a dog to take to the bathroom with them.
Tara, not everybody wants a dog.
That's used to take Opus to the bathroom all the time. Come on, Opus. Put her on the floor, then we'd run back up to the
But
bed.
Tara, the only ghosts that were ever in our house were the ones that were sitting around the dining room table waiting to be buried the next day.
Not the one that was cooking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about her.
That should be a podcast episode.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Just saying.
I was really getting in the morning going, so Mom, what were you making plum jam overnight? And she goes, no. I'm like, well, you got up in the middle of the night? No. So you didn't cook plum jam overnight? No. And I just walked away. She goes, hold on. What?
Come back here. Explain yourself in these questions.
What did you see? Well, nothing. I smelled plum jam. And I went to go look in the kitchen, and there was a man sitting on the kitchen counter. And I went, hello. And I went to bed.
Yeah, that could be a fun episode. All the times there were ghosts there that Mary Ann didn't see, but
I didn't even know they were there.
She didn't get up in the middle of the night.
You almost became a ghost in the house. Your father almost actually shot you.
Never surprised that man. Mm-mm.
And not an ex-military war veteran.
That's what saved my life. He had to put his pants on.
Oh my God.
So too.
I decided to surprise him for Thanksgiving, and I came home when I was a nanny.
She was in Connecticut. She was an au pair, and she decided to come home for Thanksgiving and never told us.
I was surprising them.
And
Right.
So I came walking into the house.
And Major was in bed with us. And
no, Major was gone. It was Opus.
Opus was in bed with us, the doxy. And all of a sudden he started this low, and I heard a click, and I went, Dad, somebody's in the house. And the dog buried herself under the covers. She wasn't going to go look.
So Dad gets out of bed, and he starts
goes
putting on his pants.
And it goes in his drawer. And he had to find a bullet because he doesn't keep bullets. He says, wait a minute, I gotta put my pants on. They robbed the whole house by the time you put your pants on.
Who's there? Me. Me who? Me, Tara. Tara who? Your daughter. What are you doing here? Surprise.
She almost got shot. How did you ever get to this age? I don't know.
I don't know. Luck.
Like other people happen to put on pants and find bullets.
Find a bullet. You might be a Don Knotts
With the bullet in his pocket
from Mayberry. I gotta find my bullet. Wait a minute. We're such violent people.
Let's see. I'm like, there are so many more comments, so I'm gonna skip some stuff. I guess Divine came home early one night and almost had the same thing. Oh, it jumped again. There we go.
Yeah. It's you don't do that to parents. You just don't do that. Learn. Yeah, you never did it again.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Tara, who? Like she forgot momentarily who his kids were.
How many Taras are there?
Rhonda's like, a reality show with you two would be great fun. This is something that would have to be.
No, they didn't want us.
This would have to be like a private production. Take the big guys out of the way, and somebody's following you around. And see, Jackie agrees. We're gonna have an episode about the ghost who cooked.
You know who that Jackie is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Workshops for families. There's a funding for special needs. That might be something that has to.
Well,
that's a whole lot of extra planning on the
think
side.
About Melissa.
In my spare time.
In your spare time, when you're not trying to think of stuff for me to do. Yeah, that would be good.
Let's see. There's and then there's like all the chatter between themselves and the different channels.
Well, I'm glad we got to do this. I mean, I wasn't sure that if we were even going to be able to do this before the move tomorrow. You between the two houses, both houses look like a tornado hit and deciding what's going, what's staying. So
Hmm. That, and I think I said this like in the last couple of weeks. I think that's what locked me into that house so hard and so long because of growing up the army brat. I'm like, when I finally get my house, I am not moving anymore. And then I'm like, I want to move, and the house and land's like, no, you're not. So we had to
makes
negotiate getting somebody in there.
right, right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask this question when Tara comes back.
Oh, I can hear.
Okay. Vicky says, did you teach Tara how to make the white light the same way your grandma taught you? And Tara, do you see it the same way visually that your mom does?
I do see it the same way visually as mom does, and mom taught me to do it the same way her grandmother taught her ish. I was in a friend's house and he had problems, and mom's like, "You have a choice. Like, you can have me out. It's going to be XYZ amount of time." She goes, or she's like, "You can have Tara come out and smudge for you. She's a real good smudger." He goes, "I'll just have Tara come over and smudge. Leave it." And so, hey, Miss Thing, thank you. I know that doesn't belong there. So,
Come here on this side.
sorry, maneuvering a large dog.
Come here.
So when I was there smudging,
Come here.
there you go. You can come up. Thanks. When I was there smudging, the ghost would walk out the front door, and then as soon as I was done, would walk back in the front door. And so I called mom. I'm like, "I can't get to go out." She goes, "Then just make the white light and make it go." I said, "I don't know how to make the white light." She goes, "Yes, you do. Just do it." And that's sort of how it all, I'm like, "Well, watch this because I can't do it." And she goes, "Uh-huh. You just did it." Ghost left. I'm like,
You know, you can teach somebody and teach somebody and teach somebody how to do something, but until they try it, in the back, I can't do that. I'm not even going to try. Well, until you try it, you don't know. And the first time she tried it, she could do it. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Sandy, she says Ozzy is sick. He has Parkinson's. This isn't meant to be so even before his Parkinson's set in, if you go back and watch the 80s, he never really spoke clearly unless he was singing. And part of it was his accent and just his personality. So this isn't meant to dig at him right now with Parkinson's, but even
absolutely
way
not.
back.
no, way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, when he had the show on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Jackie says nothing worse than being a Eucharist minister and dropping Jesus.
God.
Scooping up
down.
Jesus.
We're scooping up Jesus. Brooke is getting a reputation. She better watch it.
You know who's going to be sad they missed this? Lewis.
Oh, hey, puppy. My bunny keeps running every now and then. She's popping up behind me. So the blurry brown thing is
yeah.
bunny.
Unfortunately, Rizzo just likes to stick her nose in mom's ear.
She's telling you secrets.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, and we've had a few people who know how to drive buses and said that they'll drive our tour bus for us. And that pulling up in the Ecto 1 car would be better than pulling up in a hearse. I don't know.
Maybe.
What if we got a hearse decorated like Ecto 1?
Wasn't that what Ecto 1 was?
That's what I kind of thought.
Ecto 1 was a hearse.
Okay.
The first
but I'm like,
one
maybe
was
I'm
the
misremembering.
No.
It was always a hearse.
It was always a hearse.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I know.
You're right. You're right.
Puppy's taken over.
Yeah.
Brooke says she's innocent.
Until proven guilty, absolutely.
Now, hopefully, when she moves over, Mary. You know what, Tara? Do you get letters sent to you ever? Do you? Can we throw in some of your letters for a WTF letter reading?
No one has written me a letter since I moved to Colorado. I used to get a couple, but I never got any WTF letters.
Okay.
So some people would write to me and send them to mom's address, and then she would pass them on that way. But since I moved to Colorado and came back, it's not like I'm doing this as much as I was prior to leaving. So I'm sort of under the radar still.
Under the radar,
work on
okay.
that.
Mm.
Well, and I've gotten asked quite a bit, like, Marianne, when you finally retire and you're not doing this, are you going to pick up the torch, Tara, and carry on?
Not to the level that she has, no.
Okay.
Because her best sentence is, I have a real job.
It has insurance.
Yeah, right.
There we go. There is
And
that.
a 401k.
Yeah, mom doesn't have any of that.
There we go. Everybody's like, what's the address? How we can get some sent to you.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah.
Just send them to Marianne. They'll get passed right around the corner,
Yep,
a mile and a half down.
Quite literally around the corner.
Well, there you
There
go.
you go.
Because Vicky's like, Tara should join more often.
Well, we're close enough.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do it again.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, depending on your work hours, right? Would you normally be working right now?
Yes.
Okay.
She took off, her and my son-in-law took off because Amber was coming in last night. And so they were going to take her around and take her to some of the places beside helping us with the move. And so they're off the next week.
Mhm.
But otherwise, you'd be working.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but I almost always have this on in the background on my iPad while I'm working if I'm not in a meeting.
Okay.
So I might always be there. You just don't know it.
Yeah, because we're not going to rat out your handle.
Nope.
But you know it. So.
Yes. I
Actually,
know
a
both
lot
of,
of people are going to know it now because it's a picture and they know what I look like now.
now you're going to have to go change the picture.
I have to go change the picture. Yep.
And it's funny because I've seen both of the daughters on, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. And Marianne, when I pop them up there, I can always tell by your smirk. And depending on the questions being asked, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Amber must lay awake in bed at night trying to think, what question am I going to ask mom tomorrow to stump her? That's what Amber's doing. No doubt about it. And I was going to bring her outlet this morning about
She's
that.
watching in San
Yes.
Francisco.
She's on a plane now.
No, she is not. She texted me. She is watching in San Francisco. Say hi to Amber.
Hi, Amber. No,
See.
it'll be fun to see her.
Yeah.
As always, we need more
Whatever.
WTF letters.
June of 2021.
Yeah, we haven't seen her since June of 2021. So she hasn't been home.
It'd be nice to see her.
She's been traveling, right, since retiring, or I thought maybe she was traveling.
No, she just lives in California and she got bored being retired. So she went to work for
TSA.
TSA.
Let's see.
Well, part-time only.
Part-time, yeah. But then she gets to touch butts.
She does what?
She gets to touch butts as part of TSA. You know, pat downs. Touch
The pat
butts.
downs, like,
Oh, touch butts.
Touch butts. I'm going to go touch butts now, she says.
I mean,
if
if you were
both
to
of us
shorten
were
your
on,
job-
Mom would not get a word in edgewise.
Sue asks if you can see attachments and curses like your mom.
That I can, yes. It looks like a big, ugly, black blob around people. Like a big
Okay.
wax crayon blob.
Do you use the same method for the removal?
Yep. I was taught by the best.
Good save.
Thanks.
See, we need a tour bus. We need a tour bus. Let's see. Looking for some last minute questions because we are almost 11 on the dot. And I know, Marianne, they are down at your house
Yeah, I got to
taking
get
care of
going.
stuff, and you got to get
We
going.
can go over next Wednesday, but not today. And for those of you that call my phone number, it is changed. I could not keep the same work number from Cuyahoga County to Lake County. So when you dial the old number, it will give you the new number. That number is a 216, and I had to have a 440. So
Okay. And Tara, last question. Do you
Mhm.
see or interact with aliens the way your mom does?
you've seen them.
I've seen them, but not.
Well, you that one chased you.
Yeah, I know. We're not talking about that.
Okay.
I think we need to now.
No. Tara, go turn the pool off. Okay. How fast can you make that sprint back to the house? Something hovering over you. Pretty darn quick.
So did it look like a gray or something else, or
It was in a.
It was a ship up.
a ship up there?
Yeah, it came swooped low. And
We had a foster baby at the time that was an alien, and that is a whole nother story.
that's a big old story.
And
yeah.
it was keeping an eye on her because it didn't know where the baby
They
was.
lost her.
Yeah, they lost track of her, and we had her, and they
Oof.
found her.
That's not an 11
Episode 3. Episode 3.
Yeah, this is not no. This is a good one.
Of course, we can't give the real names because they have a
No,
life.
no.
But
Well, she's what, 30 something now. 33. In 1989, she was a baby. So how old would she be? Math was never my suit.
Clearly not mine either. No, 1989?
Yeah.
It's 10 plus 20 is 30 plus 3, so 34.
Okay, so I
Oh.
finally looked at my phone, and Ted sent me a text, and he said, Steve and I are feeling abuse. So they are apparently listening, watching this whole time.
They must be watching.
Sorry,
on their
Tara.
phone. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, good. Your dad's hearing his happy birthdays then.
There, all the
That's
happy
good.
birthdays to Dad.
Okay. And everybody says she's 34. Everybody was doing math for us.
Yeah, so she's 34 now, and I don't know. She's married and has kids.
Who knows? She might not even be living in Ohio anymore.
I don't know.
Let's see. Okay, so quick wrap up. The next Zoom session that is available is going to be February 20th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am checking this right now, so I'm sorry if my screen went blank since I switched tabs. There are 6 spots available as of right now.
For the 20th? That's all that's
Mhm.
left on the 20th?
Yep. So do you want
Okay.
me to, what our normal is, the second?
Yeah,
one?
let me get hold of you. Well, we have to do a couple podcasts, and we'll come up
Yeah.
with another date real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, when
Um,
everything is at the house tomorrow and I get the desk put back together, I'll give you a buzz. It'll be the second Friday in
March.
February.
March.
No, you already, yeah.
March.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
already have
second,
February booked up.
yeah, second Friday in March, whatever that would be.
Everybody wants some alien stories.
No, we may not be doing
No, you're not doing this. No, because that's your birthday.
that. Friday's my birthday?
Yes, sure is.
I'll talk to you. We'll see. We'll pick up.
Okay. You know how to find me.
Yes,
we
I
got all the
do.
numbers and all the things.
I do.
And pretty much if I'm not at home, I'm at the store.
Yes.
So, but grab one of those 6 spots if you are wanting to get on Zoom. If you think you have earthbound spirits, negative energy, a portal, or maybe even fairies, that's how you're going to find out the quickest. Because Marianne, even when you're not moving, your callback list is what, weeks? Are you into months yet? Months out delayed?
Yeah, it's. I should be able to pick up now that the doctor's appointments have settled down. So we'll be. The only thing that'll stop me now from coming out is snow.
Okay. Well, and you moved to the snow belt. So.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as everyone thinks it is.
Okay, we'll see.
Let's ask the plow guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we are getting 3 to 6 here directly, but you know.
Yeah, tomorrow we thought was going to be a good day to move tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's fine. It's Friday.
Oh, it's Friday, all the
Yeah.
snow? Oh,
Friday.
okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for everybody today coming on. Thank you for you coming here and let me use your house.
My pleasure.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, if we can grab Tara maybe once or twice a year, just to have fun.
Just for giggles.
Yeah. But well, thanks for joining, everybody. Catch us next week, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And Marianne will do this again next Wednesday.
Betcha.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.